This is the Protectors Project. Real conversations about leadership, preparedness, and protection when it actually matters. Building better protectors one story at a time. With host Joshua Sullivan. Let's get into it.
Well, guys, welcome to the first episode of the Protectors Project podcast. I'm Joshua Sullivan, your host. This is Michael Stocks.
Hello, America.
And we're going to get right into it. Well, who are we? What are we doing here? First off, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Mike and I go back. How far has it been now? How many years?
Way back, like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
23, 24 years maybe?
24.
So we've been together
Wow,
in more ways than more ways than one. We have been working together in some sort of capacity for over 24 years now. There will be whole episodes, I'm sure, that gets into some of our storied past and some of the wild things that we've gotten into together. But here's why this matters today. Who are we and what are we going to be talking to you about? Well, my background is 25 years and still active in public safety between private security investigations, executive protection, law enforcement, fire and EMS world, and pretty much everything in between. I have a very extensive background in a short amount of time, which I've been blessed. And Mike has been a protector almost his entire life as well, which I'll let him talk about in a minute. But here's why this matters. There's nobody out there right now with a very, very limited amount of exclusions, I'll say,
Okay.
that are keeping it real. We want to talk. We literally want to talk about leadership, protection, but for every aspect. What does it look like? You don't have to be employed to be a leader. You don't have to be a law enforcement officer, firefighter, EMT, medic, executive protection, security, military. You don't have to be that to protect. You might protect your family every day.
Oh yeah, most
right?
definitely.
Like you don't have to do anything. So this podcast and this, what we do weekly moving forward, we're going to be talking about that kind of stuff. Right, we're way more leadership and mindset over the cool gear, although we are going to have some cool gear on the show, including some of the sponsors that we've already been in talks with that are going to start sponsoring the show. But it's more mindset than it is gear for most people, because before you can use that gear effectively, you have to be able to be in the right mindset.
Mindset is very important, because if your mindset's not right, the gear doesn't matter.
Correct. So, Mike, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, as my partner here already stated, we've been boys, best friends, and co-workers for over 20 plus years. The 20 seems a lot longer than the plus, but we're still here, still kicking. And the beauty of this podcast, unlike any other, is like Josh said, we're going to give it to you from multiple points of view, but most importantly, we're going to give it to you from the real point of view. This podcast is going to cover not only real life situations, current events, past events, and where the people stand, and again, from different points of view. So this is going to be one hell of a ride that we're going to take, and we're going to dive deep. And
I'm sure it's going to have some moments that get kind of dicey, but there will definitely be some fun, wild moments too.
Most definitely.
But I meant, for example, right? Minneapolis and what's going on right now with ICE and a lot of that kind of stuff, that's a big deal, right? To a lot of people.
That's on everybody's mouth, like OJ.
And we're going to talk about it, right? And we're going to talk about it from different experience levels, from different points of view. Even in the discussions we've already had about it, there's been some things where
we don't agree.
We don't agree, but we also aren't on the same knowledge level, right? Definitely. Like there's some people that, for instance, most people out there don't know that for a police officer, law enforcement officer, when it goes to trial, it's not a normal non-law enforcement officer person sitting there to make a determination of whether they were right or wrong in that moment. Correct. It actually goes to a certain amount of peers of that individual in law enforcement, and what they thought was reasonable with the information they had at the time and what presented to them at the time. It's police officers that determine whether it was reasonable action for police officers, right? And a lot of people just don't know that. A lot of people, if you watch Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, where all these self-appointed lawyers are, they talk about these things. But this is the stuff that matters, right? One of the big differences of this podcast is going to be our perspectives. Even as co-hosts, Mike and I both are born and raised in the DC, mainly PG County, Maryland area.
Yes.
So we have that same perspective. However, let's keep it real. Mike looks different than me.
Slightly, and it's not because
it's
of the
because of the
lighting.
beard and the goatee, right? But it's Mike has a different perspective on things because we can have the exact same background, resume, training, and do the exact same thing. And unfortunately, in the world we live in today, there's times that he's going to be differently reacted to than I might, and vice versa, right?
Most definitely.
So, this is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for real conversations. We're going to have a hell of an amount of really cool guests on the podcast that we've already been scheduling. And it's going to be a fun ride.
Oh, most definitely.
So, Mike, you have been around enough to see kind of the trends come and go. What do you think in the perspective of protection that's most commonly gotten wrong? What's missing in the protection talk today?
I think the point of view, just like you was just talking about the recent incident with ICE, the point of view, and me and you had a very heated off-camera discussion about it because I, like most of America, probably was saying, instead of shooting her, why didn't the officer just get out the way? But the point of view that I saw as opposed to the point of view that you saw was totally different. The videos that you saw weren't the videos that I saw or that what most of America has seen.
And I think in itself, I don't want to say it's a problem because I think, the more out there, the more we have to go off of in today's world. But I think anybody at this point in our life and where the world is would agree that every media company out there has an angle.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Right? So there are tons of videos being shown where it looks like the person was on the side of the car when he shot versus the front of the car, right?
It was the video that I saw. He was on the side of the vehicle and was never hit by the vehicle. And I think that's one of the biggest problems because this is the perspective that certain stations, certain people see. So from my point of view, even from a law enforcement side or looking at it from that side, I was still saying that vehicle didn't hit him. He could have literally took one step to the right and been cleared. It was totally unnecessary. But after looking at the video that you presented, yes, that was intent. That was a problem. Yes, he did actually get struck. So
to the point where he had internal bleeding. There's actually documents from the hospital already that have been released where he had somewhat internal. Now, could they be lying? Could they be trying to pad it to make it look better on that side? Absolutely, right? Like I think we've both been around long enough to know that there are bullshit things that happen in investigations like this that try to frame things. But when you saw that second video, especially his body cam video, when that was released, right? Like that changes things.
Yeah, it does. And I think one of the biggest downfalls to a lot of situations now is how fast AI has come. Yeah. So the question would be, on everybody's mind at home, was the video AI to make it look like he was hit, to make it look like it was worse than what it actually was? What video that was presented to the public, to the media, what video is the real video? Is that body cam footage really the body cam footage? Or was it AI?
Or we could also say, was it really the video from the perspective of, the first video that most of America has seen?
Exactly.
Right? Like, was that AI, right? Trying to incite violence like has been going on.
And I feel like a lot of those videos that are put out, right off jump are too. Because let's be real, we're in a world now where black or white, you get pulled over by the police, you're thinking, is this going to be my last encounter? And you look at it like, damn, what did I do wrong? Did I not have on my seatbelt? Was I going too fast? Is he pulling me over because I was black? Is he pulling me over because he has nothing to do? So the initial videos that come out are usually geared for the public to go against the very people that we pay in our tax dollars to protect us. But looking at it from another point of view, from an officer's point of view, and making traffic stops, when you approach that vehicle, I don't know the mindset of that driver. I don't know what's inside that vehicle. I wasn't riding with you. You know, you could openly know that you have warrants, and I don't know not one person in America right now that has a warrant that's probably watching this podcast that says, well, fuck it, I'm ready to go back to jail. So at that point, when do you really put yourself in another pair of shoes? When do you say...
Well, I mean, I think it can go deeper than that. What most people don't realize, and I completely blame TikTok, Snapchat.
Oh, most definitely.
Instagram, Facebook, like all of the socials. You have all of these people that say, well, if you get pulled over, this is what you do. You don't have to get out of the car when the officer tells you. Well, I guess one of the things I should bring up, as we're getting into the first episode, who we are, what we're here for. So I am the managing partner of Discrete Security Services and Investigations in Maryland. Mike is actually our administrative captain, my number 2, basically, and kind of runs that division. And we have an investigative division, we have a special police division, and we have a security division. So I am now back to being a sworn law enforcement officer. Mike is back as well. And there's things that we are taught that go against everything the public thinks because of what the public sees, right? Kind of what we just talked about earlier.
Yeah, most definitely.
For something as simple as the Supreme Court of the United States has upheld that it is perfectly legal for me to make you as a driver get out of the car for any reason I want to come to the back of the car and talk to me, right? And it's not a violation of your rights. It's not a violation of anything. If I can reasonably articulate a need for you to come out of the vehicle for officer safety, that is a legal demand to make. Hey, you need to get out of the car, or you need to roll your window all the way down versus just having it cracked.
Yeah,
because if I put my hand through to try to get the ID because you're going to be an asshole, right? You can hit that, and that actually could hurt me. So for officer safety, the courts have said that officer safety is a reason that we can have somebody get out of the car and all that. And that's one of the biggest things we see all the time about, and including in Minneapolis. When they started approaching the car in a police uniform, now granted they had masks on, which, look, I'm going to be honest, as somebody that's done some stuff in the law enforcement sector of things that could really come back for people that are bad out there to try to hurt you and your family, I am not opposed to officers wearing masks. Like we have done stuff together in our careers that we've been masked for the protection of our families, not even for us.
I don't think the public looks at it like that. They look at it like, why can't we see your face? But you don't realize that the same people who are protecting you and doing these things also very well could live in that neighborhood. You could see me with my kids off duty. You could catch me in the mall off duty and be disgruntled because I just locked up your boyfriend who just the day before.
Perfect example. So we have at Discrete Security Services Investigations, we have a Maryland Special Police class going on right now. And one of the guys I'm sure we'll have on the show, one of the chiefs of police that's the main instructor for this class, he literally said a story about he went to the zoo with his kids.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest drug dealer, kingpin criminals that he deals with on a regular basis walked by him with his kids. And they both kind of respectfully said, hey, what's up, man? Have a good day. And yeah, you too, chief, right? You too. Yeah. And it's because of the respect level, right? Like,
but that could have went a terribly different way.
Correct.
And that's what the public doesn't look at. They don't look at the backside of the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have all of these, like you mentioned earlier, you have all of these TikTok, Facebook lawyers. I'm not getting out of the vehicle. But again, for 30 seconds, put yourself in that officer's, point of view. As I approach your vehicle, again, I don't know what you have in the vehicle. I don't know what your attitude is. I don't know what your mindset is. I know I want to get home to my family the same way I came to work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I approach and I say, hey, license and registration, proof of insurance, and you say, well, what the fuck did you pull me over for? You've already initiated that this is going to be a hostile stop. you've already initiated that you're agitated.
Yeah, because that same token, hey officer, I hope you're having a good day. What's going on, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference 90% of the time between a ticket or citation and a warning.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, most definitely.
I tell when we're teaching firearm training classes, we tell people all the time in the state of Maryland, and this is going to be an episode, I'm sure. In the state of Maryland, if you are a wear and carry, a CCW holder in the state of Maryland, you literally have no obligation to tell a police officer when they pull you over that you're carrying a firearm.
And that's going to definitely, I agree with you, but that's definitely going to go to another episode because there's so many people out here who have, let's just be honest, paid to get their CCW, haven't taken out one class. They don't know the law. They don't know the rules and regulations.
Well, let's clarify what you're saying when you say paid, right? They pay money and never take a class. They're paying for a certification.
Exactly.
And not actually going through what the state requires, which is 16 hours of training.
Yeah, you don't have the classification. You don't have the training. One of the things that we got to touch on that I get asked all the time, from people, I do security, but I also have a CCW. So if I use my weapon, no, you can't. You don't even have a guard card. What's a guard card? Those are the people who haven't taken the proper classes. Right. They don't have the proper training. But in the streets, let's take law enforcement out of it completely. Two regular Joes in the streets. If I walk up to you and I say, yo, bro, what's your problem? You're going to come back just as bad as I came at you. You give that level. So when I'm in uniform and I pull you over for whatever the reason, give me that same respect as you would want. Rule number 1 out here is man respect man. But when I come to you and I say license and registration, first thing out of your mouth, well, what you pulled me over for? I know my rights. I'm not getting out the car. I'm not letting down the window. I didn't ask you for none of that. So now that you've given that to me, now I'm going to give it back to you. And they tell you all the time, no matter what, be professional, be respectful. But come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you give me attitude, I have to give you attitude back because you're not going to dominate the situation. And that's when things escalate. And then the simple traffic stop has now turned into a major deal. Or like you see on TikTok, YouTube, and all of them, I'm not getting out of the car. I'm a sovereign citizen. Your rules don't apply to me. Go get your supervisor. I pulled you over for running a stop sign. Do we have to really take it this far?
Right. Well, for you guys that are out there, and again, this is our first episode, so you're tuning into the new thing. These are the kind of conversations we're going to be having. Oh yeah. Right? Like we're going to be diving into pop culture, real events, things that are polarizing in the media, but we're going to give you multiple perspectives and our honest opinion, right? Yep. I'm sure we're going to probably have an entire conversation at some point soon about Venezuela and about the ICE raids and all that stuff. So, we don't want to get too far into it, but these are the kind of things. But also, this is for everyday people. It's not just for security, law enforcement, executive protection, or, the bodyguard people. It's not just for fire and EMS. Like, we're going to be talking about things as a whole. One of the things, the chief that we were going to have on soon, that's teaching our special police class, one of the things he brought up was, I'm good with everything in the shooting except for one thing. They didn't render care afterwards, right?
Yep.
So from the EMS perspective, even, like, that's a whole nother thing. Now, there's people that went around because there was like, I'm a doctor, I'm a physician, let me help. Well, a doctor is how do I say this? A doctor is only as good as the equipment and the gear he has, right? If you're a doctor and you don't have your operating room, you can't do anything, right? Like, you don't have your scalpel, you don't have your tools. That's the same as a carpenter without wood, right?
Right.
There are multiple aspects of all of these things that people bring up. And that's what we need to do, right? We need to have more actual honest conversations versus attacks on people. And this is going to be a place where we have those conversations and not attacks. And you guys at home are going to be able to even interject and ask questions and be part of that conversation. Go ahead, Mike.
And you also have to think about it. I can walk up to anybody today and say, I'm a doctor.
True.
What makes me think you're a doctor? Because in today's society, everybody, you might not have a job, but you damn sure enough got a cell phone and you got a camera on it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody puts in their point of view. Everybody does their thing. Like, before this broadcast airs, it's going to be edited. So again, These are the things that we need to talk about. We need to talk about the real, the nitty gritty. You walk up to a scene and say, she's shot, but I'm a doctor. How do I know you're a doctor? I don't know you from a can of paint.
Right.
Just because
You printed out your degree on Excel.
Yeah, most definitely.
20 minutes beforehand.
Because they definitely can Google a degree and print it. But that's the stuff that people don't look at. And from the public standpoint, well, they wouldn't let a doctor help her. How do you know that man was a doctor?
Right.
He showed no creds. We don't know what hospital, just magically appeared, you know?
And there's also a shooting that just took place from law enforcement, right? So there's things that have to be done in place. So again, we're going to start, these are the things that we're going to dive in, right? If you're looking for a podcast that's just going to be a fun, this is going to be fun. Like when we start getting into some of our stories, especially, it's going to be, and our guests and visitors as well. But, this is going to be a real conversation, right? It's not just a hot takes kind of place. It's going to be a real conversation with a lot of stuff at stake. And that's one of the things that we look forward to. But now, with that being said, one of the things I want to do is say this. One of the things that we want this show, again, to kind of focus on is mindset over the cool, flashy, tactical gear, right? So I guess my question would be, like, when things go bad, what actually makes the difference? Is it the gear or the mindset?
It's the mindset. You can have all the gear in the world. If your mind isn't right, then that gear is pointless. That's just like they say all the time, you can have the most beautiful woman in the world, but if she has a nasty attitude, she's naturally ugly, I can have the latest, and God knows that discrete security services and investigations we do have the latest technology. We have the latest tasers. We have the latest body cams that upload in real time. We have things that a lot of agencies don't have.
A lot of police agencies even.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But if our mindset, if our mental isn't right when you put on that uniform, everything on that uniform is useless.
Yeah.
If you go somewhere in any capacity with the mindset of, I'm God, I got a badge, I'm the king, I got a gun, I'm the king, your mindset is automatically wrong. And that's how you're going to approach every situation. I'm better than you because I got a gun. You say something, I got a gun. People need to look at it from that standpoint. Where's my mind mentally? And I tell the guys all the time, if your mind's not in it, take a day, take two.
So then, from your perspective, then, is that a gap in training or reality?
I think it's a gap in both. I think when you're being trained, you're trained so much on by the book tactics. This is what you
What's
do.
not going to get you sued?
Exactly. You're trained on what looks good on camera for the people who are pulling out their phones as soon as they see you coming, for the people who want to yell in your face, I'm recording this. You're trained to deal with that. You're not trained to deal with your mental. Chief told us he had just lost somebody in his family. He had to take a couple of days because his mental wasn't there. For everybody on the force that's married, every day is not going to be a good day. So when you have problems at home, that does literally reflect in your day-to-day life. Your kids getting on your nerves. You done tripped over a skateboard, on your way home or on your way to work. All of that plays a factor. And that's the part that they don't train you for. They don't train you for how is your mental. And that's one of the things that you've got to stop and take a step. We tell people all the time, it's not personal.
Well, I think that's the other part that the public, like you said, doesn't see, right? The public doesn't see the training that goes into making a new police officer. The public doesn't see the training that goes into, even security, right?
Definitely.
There is required training. There's required training for police, obviously. Mm-hmm. We could get into the whole defund the police movement when that happened, and the first thing that went was training budgets, right? Because that's the most expensive item that they could try to cut out, which now, I think we're even starting to see the results of the defund the police, because when they did cut the training, these are the people that are out making decisions now, right? That don't have the same quality and amount of experience to make the proper decisions. At least the people before them did, right?
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'll say this, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. In every industry, every environment, every atmosphere, there are people bad in every group.
Agreed.
I still think when I put on my badge and gun every morning to go to work, I'm not one of them. I don't go out with the intent of, let me go kill a black person today, or let me go arrest only Hispanics today.
Right.
Right. Like, like, I personally still think the overall majority is still good. Right.
Oh, yeah.
But, people don't see what we go through. There's videos that you could go where, a police officer and multiple police officers have somebody has a gun in their hand or a knife in their hand, and they want to commit suicide or want death by cop, and they do everything they can to downplay it and try to de-escalate it to the point as soon as they do give up and put the gun down and they get locked up, they go on the other side of the car and they just break down, right?
Oh yeah, we just saw something
we
about
saw a video in the special police class that's going on, and people don't see that side. People see the badge and the gun or the mask for ICE right now, and they see only what they're being showed.
You see only what you're being showed, but that's a tactic by media. And that's the problem, because if you look at today's media, think about how many videos there are of cops doing wrong, cops doing bad, cops killing. You don't see the videos of cops going to fundraisers, cops at block parties. They've got a lot of the
Going into Walmart and paying for the stuff that the person stole because it was diapers and baby formula.
Yeah, those are I wish, God knows I wish, they would show more of the videos of the good ones. Yeah. But that's not what sells. That's not what media thrives on.
And it's not even just law enforcement on that. Here in Maryland, a couple months back, in Montgomery County, not too far from here, they had a fire department that it made national news because they got their deck gun or their deluge gun, the big water cannon, if you will, if you don't know what we're talking about, on the top of the fire truck, and they flooded the baseball field next to the fire station to the point where there was charges that became involved because somebody's kid had hit a baseball over and hit one of the cars in the parking lot of the firemen, and one of the firemen made a decision to turn the fire truck on and flood the field so they couldn't play. Right? You don't see the good stuff. Yeah. Right, on any aspect, you don't see the good stuff; you see the bad. So I guess that's kind of where, for the protector side of this, it's where you kind of have to be careful today. And when I say careful, it's not just for your safety. That means ethically. That means morally. That means all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So as you guys can tell right now, we're not going to avoid real world incidents. Right, we're going to talk about the stuff that's actually going on. When events go viral, whether it's a use of force, a shooting, or leadership failures and breakdowns, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it and see what it actually means. So I guess it's probably a good time. Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, and then we will get right back into it.
Sounds good.
And we're back. So thank you for our sponsors for sponsoring today's episode, as always. Also,
thank you for sticking around.
Yeah, thank you for sticking around. We are announcing that we do have multiple sponsorships available, including our studio. So I know you can only see what you're looking at right now, but we do have a bigger studio that we can have more people when our guests come. So we have it's a work in progress. We just started this, so. We have some acoustic paneling coming for all the walls. We have some other upgrades that we're going to be doing to the show. But we have the naming rights, our main sponsor's naming rights for the studio. So, that's going to be something if you want to reach out to us, if you want to become a sponsor, you can always email us at contact@theprotectorsprojectpodcast.com. And we'd be more than happy to send you some info. So let's get right back into it. So, I guess the next part of what we want to talk about today with our first episode is this. This is just the beginning, right? We'll be bringing on guests. We'll be breaking down current events. We'll be doing a lot of everyday things, and anything that's kind of getting popular, I'm sure we'll talk about. But we want to hear from you too. We want to hear kind of what questions you have, what you guys want to hear about. Again, we bring so many different things to the table with our backgrounds and some of the guests' backgrounds that we're going to have on, that we have a lot of things we can discuss. So what do you want? What do you want to bring to the table for the podcast, Mike?
I want to bring a different point of view. I want to bring honesty. I plan to bring information from, again, multiple points of view, because so many podcasts out here give you just one side of the story, one version of the story. So many podcasts are scripted. So many of them don't dig deep. One of the beauties of this podcast... It's
all for clicks.
Yeah, basically. And one of the beauties of this podcast and what we do here is we're not going to bring a special guest, John, who retired from the police department 40 years ago. Let's be real. Shit's different from when John retired. We're bringing active people. We're bringing those who were there on the front line. We're giving you real life now. I want you to plug in now. This is why you can't miss this one. We're not editing. We're not censoring. We're giving it to you real. When you send us a question, we're going to answer your question from, again, multi-points of view. Every talk show, every podcast, there's somebody in the back holding cue cards. If I could show you the studio right now, there are no cue cards. There's nobody in the background saying, say this, don't say this. We're going to give it to you 100%. The best part about it is, because it's not scripted, because we haven't rehearsed any of this.
Or the scariest part.
True. Could be either way. You're going to hear me and Josh, even again, after 20 plus years of friendship, 20 plus years of working together, we still to this day don't always agree. We've had blowout conversations where we've cussed each other out to get our points across. You're going to get
It's our love language.
Well, you're going to get all of that firsthand. And we want you to be interactive with us. Give us your feedback. If you feel we was wrong about something we said, let us know. Because again, we're here for you. There's a message that we want to get out. There's education. There's knowledge and power. We want to make sure you understand so that you can be better prepared for what you need to do everything great.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I wrote that down.
I'm sure. So I guess, what do you guys want to see, right? Let us know. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see our socials that we finally activated. When you're seeing this, we've done all of our teases and our releases and all that kind of stuff to get the word out there. So hopefully you're following us on all of our social media channels. You'll be able to see us on Spotify, Apple, anywhere that major podcasts are. And we want you to really be part of this.
Yeah.
If you have something you bring to the table and you even want to potentially be a guest, reach out to us, right? We'll put the email again at the bottom. But let us know, what you want to bring to the table. We're about getting truth out there. We're about getting real world and multiple points of view. And we want to have that conversation, but in a respectful, mostly between us, respectful way and our guests. But we're going to keep it real with you. Couple other things, let's get into, I guess, is our main sponsor right now is Discreet Security Services Investigations. You can reach them. We'll put it at the bottom of the screen, but it's dssimd.com. In Maryland, we're also now opening our DC and Virginia divisions.
Yes.
And it's a full service, in Maryland, it's a full service special police agency, but then also investigations and security agency. We do executive protection training, we do guard training, we do private detective training, we do firearms training, non-lethal, taser, you name it, we do it all. And we also do all of the services along with it as well. We are located in Deal, Maryland, so about 25 minutes from the DC line off of Route 4 and Suitland Parkway. And yeah, what else do we need to let them know right off the bat about us?
I think you've said it all. I think this means that this is a one-stop shop.
It's a one-stop shop for sure.
Yeah.
We if you need services, I guess hit us up. We do nationwide coverage, and we have a national network of vetted vendors that we use if it's not in our area, that we can get in touch with and get problems solved.
Yep, that's it.
So I guess we'll be bringing on guests, breaking down different current events and talking about different perspectives. The last part, I guess, we can talk about today to kind of wrap this episode up is, what do you hope to gain from this podcast, more so than what you want to get out there, but what do you hope to gain from this podcast? I
hope to gain a larger audience. I hope to gain trust and reliability with the community, a relationship of good communication. And I wanted to add to what you said, guys. If you have any questions about current or past events that you would like us to talk about, if you want your point of view expressed, please send us all of that. Not only are we giving you knowledge for free, we want to clear up some of those blurry lines. We want to make sure that you have a clear understanding. Because again, we feel that knowledge is power. I feel that
And shit always changes too, right? Like
yeah,
that's the other part. The Supreme Court right now is hearing arguments about I don't remember what state. I'd have to look it up right now, but it also affects Maryland because Montgomery County, Maryland, when the new laws went into effect for handguns, said that you can't carry a handgun on personal property unless that person specifically allows you to, and it's posted.
Yeah.
Well, that was challenged and that was beaten by the Supreme Court. But now there's another ruling that's being heard that they're about to rule on, saying that the open carry in public and then on private property. So as things change, we're also going to be an announcement kind of place that can tell you, hey, be careful because the police out there don't care if you know or not. It's your responsibility, right? And so we're going to try to educate in that aspect and keep things current.
Because, like I said, a lot of people out there paid for their CCW. And again, like Josh explained to you all, when I say paid, that means you gave somebody a couple $100, they gave you a certification. You have absolutely no knowledge on what you're doing. And that's just the facts. And by us sharing information, sharing changes in the laws that change weekly, daily, updating you, what do we get out of this? We get the enjoyment of knowing that you are out there prepared, not only mentally, physically, and with the gear, so that you can make better decisions.
Also, I'd be remiss to say we can talk about ourselves a little bit to kind of finish this episode up and kind of what we like to do when we're not working and stuff like that. One of the things that Mike will tell you right now, and if you can see my hat right now, it's a Hooley Golf, which is it's from a Navy SEAL that loves golf, and he started a brand. I have a lot of their stuff, big fan. Not sponsored by them yet, but I would love to be, just FYI, if we can get that out there into the world. I'm an avid golfer. I try to play 2 to 3 times a week when it's nice out. And even, we are mid-January here in Maryland right now, and we have literal snow on the ground right now. But it's supposed to be 49 degrees in a couple days, and I'm trying everything I can because I'm going to go out and play in 49-degree weather. As long as it's 40 or more, I'll play if it's nice. This guy says he's a golfer. He swears actually he's a golfer, and I'm looking straight at him, as you guys can see. One of the cool things about this podcast is we don't have to be in the studio to record. So I'm going to use this to help you guys, or for you guys to help me, forced him to actually get his ass kicked out on the golf course because he talks a lot of shit. So one of the things I like to do is golf, and that's why I bring that up. And one of the other things I like to do is, mainly golf, really. What else do I like to do, Mike? You know me.
Lie, apparently. When you're good at something, you don't have to announce it. My skills speak for themselves when I'm on the course.
I've never heard of him being on the course once in the 25 plus years that we've known each other. So he's a good poker player. That's all I'm going to say. But maybe we'll make this a fun one of the episodes where we'll actually be on the golf course and we'll try to see what we can do out there and have, I don't know, maybe we can do a taser on the line so loser gets tased by the other party.
We've been tased so much it doesn't even affect us. But, years ago I used to whoop you on the pool table. Now I got to whoop you on the golf course. I mean, however you want it. It doesn't matter to me.
So let's end this way.
Okay.
Well, actually, hold on. Let me give you a chance. What do you like to do other than lose on the pool table and golf course?
I don't lose on anything I do. I'm a real outdoors person, guys. From September to February for me is hunting season. So when I'm not at work, when I'm not sharing knowledge with you, I'm in the woods hunting something.
With a
mostly
squeaky ass chair.
Mostly anything that moves. I had my chair replaced. I actually folded drawers up and put it in the corner because you don't know how to hunt.
That
After-
would be an episode in itself, by the way. So I go hunting with him quite a bit,
And does absolutely nothing.
and that would be entertainment. I think if we put up a camera that isn't too bright, that would be pure entertainment.
Well, you guys are going to miss that this season because hunting season is coming to an end. But boating season is starting, and I'm definitely on the boat fishing. Again, when I'm not in office, I'm on the boat. When I'm not in office and on the boat, I'm asleep. So, very basic, straight to the point kind of guy. I'm going to teach him how to fish this year, hopefully. Hopefully he'll catch on to it, I don't know. He hasn't caught on to golf yet, so, it is.
All right, let's end this way. It's coming for the close of our first episode. What's your favorite story that we can share today, and to close out the story?
I would share a story about a very, very good friend of ours named K-Dog, but that case is probably still pending.
And we're going to protect some identity here in this. We can do the K-Dog story. So Mike and I, we used to work at an establishment part-time. And the establishment is in the Camp Springs, Allentown Road, Clinton, Maryland area, is what we'll say. And this kind of was an adult establishment.
Yes.
And they had a lot of bouncers inside, and then they would have some staff and law enforcement and stuff outside.
To discourage extracurricular activities,
which was regular. Yes, which was regular there. And so Mike and I kind of worked outside with a bunch of the cops that we had hired for part time. And so, take it away, Mike. Let's talk about K-Dog because that was a day I'll never forget.
K-Dog was a gentleman who I think suffered from
a lot of issues.
Yes, ADHD being one of them, and attention deficit. So he comes up to us. We're outside. Me and Josh are standing there talking, and K-Dog says, "Hey guys, I want to do what you do. I want to be who you are."
I think for this story to be properly framed, though, we need to explain what he looks like.
So K-Dog is
yay tall, 5'6", 5'7", maybe. A $110 wet,
soaking wet with 2 bricks in his ass. But K-Dog is a very, very small, petite white guy.
Looks like he's from like the woods.
Yeah, backcountry. He's about as big as Josh's leg.
But is a semi-pro race car driver.
So he says.
Well, I mean, we had confirmation from our person, which I guess that wasn't necessarily confirmation looking back on things now, but
so he says.
Nonetheless, apparently he's a actual semi-professional race car driver and like was pretty good at it. Won a lot of things.
Yeah, we believe he was. He reminds you of a jockey on a horse.
That's just more redneck looking.
Yeah, to give you his size,
not acting.
But K-Dog was a very, very. I'm sure everybody knows somebody who really, really speaks with their hands. K-Dog was that kind of person.
Crackhead.
Okay. And in law enforcement, when you're talking to an officer, or you should know when you're talking to an officer, don't do a lot of hand movements because, again, we don't know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, hands kill is what we're talking.
So when he's talking to us, and I'm going to try my best, he's doing a whole lot of hand movement, which caused me and Josh to take a step back because, again, we know you, but we don't know you. So he's like, hey, guys, I want to do what you do, and I want to be with you, and I want to be part of your team,
These hands are registered.
That's what he kept telling us, that his hands was registered, which, again, gave us a reason to pause and take a step back, because we don't know what your registered hands are going to do. So I'm in an extremely good mood. Me and Josh are outside just having a ball. Beautiful night. Nothing extracurricular is taking place, so it's great.
That we saw.
Yeah, that we saw at that moment. So I tell K-Dog, I said, K-Dog, I tell you what. I will give you my gun and badge right now, and you can have my job if you take Josh to the ground. And K-Dog looks at Josh, and before he can say anything, Josh said, K-Dog, he's setting you up. Don't do it. And now I have completely transformed from law enforcement professional doing my job to now I'm the biggest instigator you have ever seen in your life. And I go full regalia. I am in character 200%. No, K-Dog, fuck him. Don't listen to him. You can take him down. I promise you, K-Dog. I'm going to walk you through it. K-Dog says, all right, I'm going to do it. You promise? I said, K-Dog, if you take him to the ground right now, I will give you my badge and gun. Come on, Josh. Josh kept saying, K-Dog, don't do it.
I started walking away.
He literally did. I'm sorry. He did start walking away. I said, K-Dog, his back is to you. Now's the chance. Jump on him. You got it. I got you. Josh keeps saying, K-Dog, don't listen to him. He's setting you up, and I'm egging him on to the point that K-Dog jumped on him. And my instant first thought was, oh, shit, I didn't think he was going to do it. But I'm too far in now to let it go, guys. You got to understand. Just like when you see a liar. Once you go so deep in the lie, that damn it, we can't stop now. We're all in. So K-Dog grabs him. Josh, trying to hold back, puts K-Dog in a simple arm bar and takes him to the ground. Gently, but he does take him to the ground. Again, I'm too far to stop. I get down on the ground beside them, and I'm K-Dog.
Mike is laying on the ground prone.
I'm right beside him in K-Dog's ear. Fuck this, K-Dog. You can get out. All you got to do is turn this way, and once you flip, you're free, and he's already down. Jump on his back. You've got him pinned. K-Dog, you sure? Hell yeah, K-Dog. I do this all the time. This is what we were trained to do. Josh says, K-Dog, don't move.
I even told him what would happen if he did.
Well, I told K-Dog to go left. K-Dog went right. All of a sudden, it sounded like somebody was chewing on pork rinds right there in our ear. K-Dog jumps up. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen the videos of a guy named Lawnmower Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
On YouTube.
OG status.
But if you haven't, look him up.
K-Dog I know my
raps. And that's exactly the tone. But K-Dog jumps up, grabs his wrist. Oh, shit.
Call my mom.
And that's all he kept saying. Call my mom. And he takes off.
No, K-Dog's what? 40s? Late 40s, I'd say.
Late 40s.
Easily late 40s.
And all this grown-ass man keeps screaming, it's call my mom, and he's holding his wrist, and he's going in circles. And I'm like, what's going on? So Josh goes from abuser to EMS. K-Dog, come here. Let me see your wrist. Let me see your wrist. He looks at it. Not only is this white boy's wrist now discolored, but we can clearly see that it is fractured. So I'm thinking, oh, shit. Why did Josh do that? I have no idea. We throw K-Dog in the car. I light up. We go priority. We rush him to the hospital, the local hospital. We get to the local hospital.
Maybe we shouldn't say certain parts of this. I'm sure the statute of limitations is passed. But
his mom decided not to press charges anyway. Yeah. So we get to the local hospital.
Now, mind you, this hospital is where it's in the area that my firehouse was in. That I was a current member at. I was living at that point even. So I'm always there dropping off patients and doing stuff.
Say that to say that 90% of the staff know us. So we go in, we get them seen, we take them directly to the back. I'm there, we're there. K-Dog, on his own accord, decided to say that he has fallen down a hill. After x-ray, and the doctor's looking at the x-rays, the doctor said, bullshit. There's no way you sustain this falling down a hill.
Six breaks.
And K-Dog swears he fell down a hill. He doesn't know what happened. To the point where the doctor even pulls us to the side and says, look, he's not going to give me the
Josh,
real story.
Come on, man. Like, seriously, like, what actually happened so I can help him.
And I am in the corner in stitches because I'm trying to figure out how Josh is going to explain this story because I've had nothing to do with any of this. In the words of Bad Boys, I was at a family barbecue. I don't know what happened. And Josh is like, whatever he told you is what happened. Like, if he said he fell, that's what happened. I don't know. We just know he needed medical attention, and we got him here as fast as possible. I am hilariously laughing. And then the doctor walks away to tend to K-Dog. I'm like, Josh, do you think you've ruined his driving career? And he's like, do you think he really had one to start with? It was utterly ridiculous.
6 full breaks.
And you did that for what reason?
Like, six full breaks.
Did you ever apologize to K-Dog, man? Like,
no, I think K-Dog came back. The next time we saw him, which wasn't for a while. if I remember correctly.
He had to heal.
He still had a cast on like 4 months later. And it was, we heard the update through our friend that we knew him through, that he had to put his race car driving career on hold.
You ruined the man's career, Josh.
We should get K-Dog on the.
Yeah.
That would be, if he's still alive.
What's that guy that's on YouTube that always is the trailer park ninja? I got to find him for you. He's like, this isn't a hand. This is a half-cocked Judy. Oh, you got to see him. He will remind you of K-Dog. He looks exactly like him. He's always got on a cape. But, guys, that is all of our time, unfortunately. I would like you to remember, if nothing else, like, follow, share. And whatever you do, don't miss us.
Yeah, remember, it's going to be a weekly podcast. There will be episodes dropping every week. So if you're seeing this, then a week from today, we will be dropping the next one. We can't wait to let you guys into our world, and bring you guys in, and you guys can see, maybe a different view you've never seen before, and different perspectives that you've never seen before. This is the Protectors Project podcast. And again, real life stories from leadership, protection in any environment, any atmosphere. And we can't wait to see you again.
Yeah.
Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Protectors Project. New episodes drop weekly, focused on leadership, preparedness, and real-world protection. If this episode added value, subscribe, share it with someone who carries responsibility, and join the conversation. Until next time, stay prepared, stay accountable, and lead well.